What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel from Complex Simplicity. Happy Monday. As you can see, the sun is shining in the background. Monday is like my Sunday. I'm off on Sundays and Mondays. I work Tuesday through Saturday. So I love when I'm able to do a vlog where you actually see some sunlight. Natural sunlight at that. Excuse the greasy face, just put a lot of vitamin E oil on, part of my skin regimen. But anyway, I'm on today because I last week posted on my Instagram page for the website, which is at complexedsimplicity09. I wanted to get more interactive with you, right? In 2018, we're already damn near the 4th month into the year. I wanted to be able to hear from you as far as if there were any particular topics you would want me to address or get my perspective and take on, and someone actually did, yay, comment, and the person said that they wanted for me to discuss and get my perspective on if I think talking, when you're in a relationship, if you're talking to other people outside of your relationship and being flirtatious or sexting, whether it's meeting them on these dating apps or whatever may have you, do I consider that to be cheating? And what I will say is I consider anything that is outside of the realm of your relationship cheating, meaning if I'm emotionally connected to another man, if I'm physically involved and connected with another man, if this other person is like my go-to for all things when I'm actually in a marriage or in a relationship, I definitely consider those to be cheating or signs of cheating. I know we're in a day and age where everything is about social media, everything is about, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all these different things where you have access to people you normally probably wouldn't have access to in your real life. Whether they're people that you grew up with years ago, people that you worked with years ago, people that you dated years ago, or people that you don't know, but you stumble upon their account, on social media. I get that it could be a very slippery slope. A practice that I have adopted since being in a serious relationship that led to marriage is I'm not friends on social media with any man that I have had some form of a connection or relationship with, So if we dated, if we fooled around, if we were physical, I'm not friends with them on social media. And it's not that I feel that it'll be that much of a temptation for me, but I just kind of feel like, why would I need to be connected to them on social media? What purpose would that benefit me? And then a lot of times it's that 1 or 2 times you're actually going through some real stuff in your relationship or in your marriage, that having that kind of access to someone who I used to deal with can become a slippery slope, right? So initially, if they send me a request or I send them a request and I'm like, I'm good, I'm happy, love is love, I'm good, I don't want them, but hey, we've known each other, we have history, let's be connected. That may be the purest of intentions that I may have, but let's say I start to go through some serious stuff in my relationship or in my marriage to the point where I'm scrolling down my feed or Instagram and I'm seeing my ex and what's going on in his life, or maybe he's looking a little too extra good that day, or maybe it still appears that he's single. It could potentially become a temptation, especially if they're reaching out to you or commenting under your posts and trying to interact with you, right? And so that's just me. I have friends who are married who have male friends in their lives and who stay connected to people that have been a part of their past. And for me, no judgment to them, but for me, I try to stay far and clear from that kind of thing because, like I said, you just never know what could actually come of that or happen. And especially if you have a shoulda, coulda, woulda guy or a what if guy, a what if woman, a shoulda, coulda, woulda woman in your life, like, ooh, time never worked where we could try it or we could see where we were, but we actually had legit feelings. I say run like hell from those kind of situations because you just don't know what kind of slippery slope you can be on. And I had to learn a harsh truth several years ago, which is none of us are above temptation. I used to think that I was the girl, who would never, be tempted to cheat, or who would never, play myself and entertain the company of another man, until I was confronted with that very situation. And I learned very quickly, never say never, Chanel, and you're not above it, right? Of course, your intention isn't to be hurtful. Your intention, or my intention, wasn't, to be shady. But depending on what could be going on in your relationship, when you have or allow yourself to have access, or as I say, when you allow yourself to dance with the devil, it never results in anything good or beneficial or fruitful for anyone. And so for me, I like to steer clear from that. So I'm married. There's no reason for me to be online entertaining any dating websites. There's no need for me to be too close and too connected to any male coworkers. There's no need for me to be trying to hang out for dolo with male friends. There's no need for me, you know what I'm saying, to put myself in those kind of compromising situations. Like I said, I know a lot of people who feel very different than what I'm saying, where they're like, no, I'm good. It's okay for me to still have male friends, even though I have a husband or a man. It's okay, I'm in this happy relationship with this woman, but it's cool for me to still have, these female friends in my life. To each his or her own. I would just say and ask, I would just want to put out there, love is love, and everything is always great when your relationship is steady and everything is copacetic and we're uber in love, and it's just amazing. But when you start to hit those challenges, when you start to wake up and look at the person and not like them that much that particular day or that week, when you start to be annoyed by their mere existence, it happens in relationships, and it definitely happens in marriages, y'all. So don't be fooled by the fairy tales. You will have days where you wake up and you don't want, you look at your better half like they're the last person that you want to deal with that day, depending on where your emotions are, your stressors are, what you're going through, or if you guys have been at odds. And it's during those times that it could be very easy to find yourself in compromising situations. Now, this is my perspective as a woman, right? Us women, I think we're a little more cautious, most of us, unless we've been like severely done wrong out here to the point where our heart has turned black. When you meet a woman and you can tell that her heart has turned black, then she's liable to do all kinds of things, right? But when you typically meet a woman, 9 out of 10 times, we're going to be the ones to not want to put ourselves in those kind of situations, to cheat, right? We're not out there looking for things. If we're cool and things are good at home, and even if things are a little rocky at home, it's not really going to make us want to just run out there with the next man. It's not really going to speak for myself. If I'm going through it with my husband and I hang out with one of my girlfriends one night to kind of blow off some steam and just to have that woman time, that's not going to make me want to get the attention of other men. I'm not out here trying to get noticed. Now, if I'm being honest, do I get noticed? Absolutely. But I don't entertain that. Even when I'm at odds with my husband, I'm not going to entertain it. I don't care. He could be finer than fine. I'm running like hell the other way, right? Now with the men, I feel like it's more, it's easier for them because they're such visual creatures if they feel like they're not getting something at home, I think it's just a little bit or a lot of bit easier for them to really start entertaining the company of other women, or looking and glancing maybe a little bit too long, maybe lusting a little bit too much. Not saying that women can't fall for these things as well, but I think it's a lot easier for a man to. And, we're just built different ways. And so I see, and I've experienced girlfriends expressing to me that they're finding out that their men are, online on these dating apps, talking to other women, flirting with other women, sexting with other women. And it's like, yo, dude, you would not like it if I did that to you. And that's what I think a lot of men don't understand all the time, that if we as women did half of those things or made those kinds of decisions, they would have a problem with that. They would be extremely hurt. It would be a serious gut punch to the ego, right? And the crazy thing is, a man is more apt, if a woman cheats, to be like, I'm done with you, I'm out. Whereas us women are more apt to give it a try and try to work through things, or some of us, because you cheat on me, for the most part, I'm over it. But anyway, that's just me. But most women would be willing to work it out and to stay and to make it right. And this is what I signed up for in marriage. Nope, my perspective is the moment one of us goes against one of them vows, like a serious one, I think I'm good, But that's just me. I'm big on knowing your worth. I'm big on, all those things. And yes, we as humans do make mistakes, but to really find yourself in another woman's vagina, there should have been enough red flags and cautions to stop you at some point. So it's just me. That's one of my deal breakers. For someone else, it would be something else, abuse and cheating. Those are one of the two things that will get me up out of the situation. But that's just me. Everybody's different. But going back to what I was saying, when it comes, as it pertains to that whole, you're in a relationship, but then you're living this whole secret double life online where you're talking to other people and, you're making arrangements to meet up, or even if arrangements are never made to meet up, but y'all are actually sitting here having sexual conversations, that stuff is still very hurtful. I'm gonna just put it out here. Y'all know I don't curse that much on here, but that shit is very hurtful. Don't, do unto others. I mean, this is one of my personal and family values. Do unto others as you would want someone to do unto you. And if you're having issues in your relationship, as uncomfortable as that conversation may be for both parties, let's talk about it. If you feel like you're not getting enough sex, talk about it. In my mind, men will never feel like they get enough sex, right? So that's always something that will be up for discussion in some way. If you feel like you're being neglected in other ways, your woman doesn't have time for you, or you feel like she's juggling too many things, or if you feel like your man doesn't have time for you, or he's not emotionally available to you, let's talk about that kind of stuff before we start stepping outside of our relationship or our marriage to get our needs met. If that's the case, then why go through having a wedding and saying these vows in front of your loved ones and spending all this money to get married to step out of it? What's the point in that? And I'm huge on, and whether you say yes to being in a relationship with someone or you say yes to being in a marriage with someone, nobody put a gun to your head. This was a decision both parties made, right? And so this is not a must. We're not in the day and age where your parents arranged for you to be married and there's nothing you can do about it, nothing you can say about it. We're in the day and age where this is all of choice. We live in America, land of free will, right? So, you allowed and accepted and chose to be in this situation. Then if things are not working out, not that I'm a huge promoter of divorce, but if things are not working out, there are other options. You try to go to counseling, you do all that you can do to try to save the marriage, and if for some reason or the relationship it's still not working out, then both parties have the right to say, you know what, I opt out. Why can't we go down that route? Why is it always that we're willing to step outside of our marriage or our relationships to get our needs met? That's a very, very, very selfish thing to do. To me, it's the easy thing to do. And those who signed up for marriage, there's no way in hell you signed up for something to be easy. We all know, we may not know all of what marriage entails or all of what being in a relationship entails, but we all should have some level of common sense enough to know that when you bring two people from different backgrounds and different cultures and different walks of life, or even if you're from the same background and the same culture and a similar walk of life, bringing two humans together to do life together is going to be a challenge. That's par for the course, right? That's like saying, once you decide to become a parent, life is going to be easy. I don't know what parenthood fully entails, but I'm pretty sure I can assume that parenthood is going to be challenging at some point or another, right? You're not signing up to have an easy life. You know what I'm saying? So let's think about, damn, How would I feel if this was the other way around? If my husband was sitting here and he's sexting some other chick on some online dating app, I would feel like crap. That would hurt me to the core, right? So let me think about that before I start trying to put myself in any situation that would be just as hurtful to him, you know? And if there is anything I feel like I'm not getting, maybe I need to put on my grown woman panties, put on my grown woman thong, and talk to my husband about it and say, listen, this is what I need. This is why I need this. This is how important this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, have that difficult conversation. I don't think anybody really wants to talk these days. And guys and ladies, women and men, when you do get to the point of having the difficult conversation, please be transparent and honest during that conversation. Please, and I hate to kind of like blame one gender over the other, but a lot of times, no, I can't even say that, because lately I've been hearing about stories of women really playing themselves too in this situation or scenario. If you know you did disrespectful things and kind of stepped outside of your relationship, just own it. Please stop trying to continue and perpetuate the lie as if the other person can't see right through that ish. Please stop doing that, y'all. Just put it all out there and be honest. Just be real about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have the difficult conversation, then be honest about where you stand, what you've done, and why you've done what you've done. You know, I don't think it's fair to try to lie and to cover up that lie by telling 20 other lies just because of your own selfishness, because you know you played yourself, but you're afraid that that person's going to want to leave you. Well, you should have thought about that before you was out here doing what you was doing. It's just what it is out here, y'all. If we going to be out here living foul, we have to be willing to accept the consequences that could come with that. Be honest. If you know you cheated, you know you were doing something inappropriate, be honest. And if you were honest and the person says, well, why is this a habitual pattern with you? Be honest about why this is a habitual pattern for you. Don't try to, at that point, it's too late to try to spare the person's feelings. You done cheated on me. You definitely didn't spare my feelings. You might as well just give it to me straight. At the end of the day, if it's because it's my weight, if it's because you're not attracted to me anymore, if it's because we're at odds all the time, if it's because you're not getting enough sex or the sex ain't good enough or whatever you want to say the ugly truth, because I think once you could break it down to that level, then there's room to build up. But if we're still going to keep it surface and we're going to tell half-truths and we're not going to be 100% honest about our motives and what triggered us to do these things, then how do you expect for the relationship to heal? Don't lie. At that point, just keep it real. Keep it real. I swear, this topic of cheating comes up so much in my life from people, you know, wanting to get my perspective on things or my advice, whether it's my coworkers, whether it's friends. Like, I am so over this topic, to be honest with y'all, because I feel like it's a toxic place for me to be, because this is one of the things that's a deal breaker for me. You know, if you're not careful, if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who are constantly talking about this and going through this, it could cloud your mind and your better judgment. It could have me coming home looking at my husband with the side eye, because this is what I'm hearing all day, every day. I decided to actually do a vlog about it because I do know that this is something that a lot of people go through more than not. And not that what my perspective is like this whole new thing nobody's ever heard of. I'm sure a lot of the points that I've made thus far, you've heard people say these things, whether it's on TV, whether it's people you know, but my twist would just be, I guess if you don't get anything from this, get this. Try to stop yourself early on. Like I say, I'm big on using the term slippery slope, because there are certain temptations and things in our lives that are just that, a slippery slope. If you're, picture yourself on some hill on a snowy day that actually also has ice underneath it, right? How hard is it for you? How hard is it going to be for you to get down that hill without falling and slipping and sliding and busting up your face, right? The likelihood is very low that we're going to be able to be on a slippery slope that's full of ice and snow and get all the way down the hill without busting up our face. The likelihood that we're out here entertaining the company of another man or another woman outside of our relationships or marriage, thinking that we're going to be able to keep this kind of communication or relationship going in a platonic way, to me, is you're on a slippery slope. Once again, when things are right in our relationships and in our lives, most of us will have the willpower to be like, nah, I'm with somebody, I'm good. We're human. When things are not going well in our lives, and when things are definitely not going right in our relationships and marriages, that's when there's that open window. Even if it's a crack like this, you'll be surprised how that little crack could turn into a gaping hole for you to be on this slippery slope, entertaining the company of someone outside of your relationship that can then turn into a full-blown affair or cheating situation. It's that easy, y'all. We're humans and nobody's above it. So I say, let's be proactive. Let's be preventative, as opposed to, oh my goodness, I'm in this mess now. What do? I got to clean it up. I got to cover it up. I got to tell all these lies. I got to, erase my tracks. I got to do all this stuff, when all we had to do from the beginning was run like hell once we saw, it's slippery over there. I'm going back this way. Meaning whatever issues you're facing personally, try to deal with them. Be like, Chanel, why are you finding yourself craving the attention of other men when you're married? Where is this stemming from? What is the trigger? Is there something going on in your marriage? Is there something you're not getting from your husband? Like, ask yourself those questions. Try to figure that piece out. And then once you figure that piece out, have the conversation with your significant other so that you guys can prevent a serious, crazy situation from happening. I can't tell you how many families go through unnecessary drama, children, all these things, because one person decided to be selfish and step outside of their relationship. It affects households. It affects children. It affects families, y'all. Like, this is not, please don't let reality TV and this craziness make you think and feel that that's just what it is and it's okay and it's all right to have someone outside of your relationship. When I tell you, guys talk to me every day or try to talk to me every day. They try to ask for my number. The first thing I say, I could already tell when they're coming at me, is that I'm happily married. But you can still have friends though. No, don't want none, don't need none. Like, I shut it down, and not that I'm tempted, like I really want to deal with these men, but I just have a practice where I shut it down. Because I want them to know that there actually are women out here who are happily married or happily with someone. And no, I don't want to have friends. There's no need for us to be friends. There's no need for us to exchange information. I don't care about anything you have to say. No disrespect, but I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And so when they see me, because a lot of the men around where I work or, certain areas that you frequent, you see similar faces. So you tell them once, they may try again. You tell them again, they may try again. You tell them again, they get the point. Like, I'm good. There actually are Black women out here who are happily married and don't want you. And I could be feuding with my husband and going through it with him. That'll still be my response. Because at the end of the day, what I have at home still is far better and foresees what you feel you can offer me anyway, right? The whole 80-20 rule. When you feel like you're not getting a particular thing or a few things, then someone that comes along embodying those few things you feel you're not getting, they look like they're the whole total package. They're that 100%. And then you mess around and leave what you got, which was amazing, for something that's way, they can't even nearly meet what your significant other or your spouse was giving you. Like, please. All that glitters is not gold. And let me tell you something, the grass ain't never greener on the other side. Okay? So that's just how I like to function. I don't have a need to have company of other men as far as hanging out in my personal life. I work with guys, I have to work with guys, but I still keep the boundaries very clear. They all know that Chanel is a happily married woman, right? And even if I wasn't, I'm not going to sit up here and now want to roll around the sack with y'all for what? No, I'm not with that. I'm not about that. I wouldn't want nobody doing that to me. But I keep the boundaries where they should be, right? And so I don't have a need to have male friends who I'm on the phone with, male friends who I'm talking to, male friends who we going out to the movies, we meeting up when I'm married. For what? Why do we need to have that kind of exchange, right? I have cousins that are males. I have a brother who's a male. I have a dad who's a male. There's enough male energy in my family where if I wanted and felt like I needed another male perspective other than my husband, I know where I can go for that. I don't have to like be with someone, you know, just to get their perspective. Slippery slope. No, thank you. I'm good. And furthermore, I wouldn't want my husband entertaining that kind of company with a random woman. Like, nah, I'm good. You know, you got a female cousin. There's somebody you could talk to about stuff if you feel like you didn't want to talk to me about it. You don't have to go out now and be with some random chicks or talking to some random women or women you work with or whatever, you know, or cross paths with, and having those kind of conversations with them. To me, it's all a slippery slope, and it's a recipe for potential disaster. We're all human. None of us are above making those kinds of mistakes. And so why not try to prevent it at all costs and really pour into our relationships as well as ourselves to make sure we're where we need to be, if that makes sense. So to answer this question, it's been about 25 minutes. Yes, I do consider if my significant other was out here on a dating app talking to other women, sexting and all of that, that absolutely is cheating. To me, cheating is not only defined by having sexual intercourse or some form of sexual activity. Cheating could also be an emotional thing. If you're finding that your significant other is connected emotionally to someone else, that's a problem. To me, that's a form of cheating. Relationships are not just about sex. Most of relationships are actually about the emotional connection and companionship that you have with one another. And then your sex is the icing on top of all of that. And so if you find that your significant other is connecting with someone else, even if they're not sleeping with them, they're connecting with them and they're like companions in some way, that's how they operate, that is cheating in my book. So that's my perspective on that. Comment under this vlog. Let me know what your thoughts are, what your opinion and perspectives are. Very controversial topic, very touchy subject, but it's happening all the time, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, families are being disbanded, and now children are going from 2-parent households to now, you know, single parent households, and it's like changing the structure of to me what a family was really intended to be. Why we gotta go and now step outside of our relationships for our own selfish needs? Like why is that the tactic that we have to use? But anyway, let me know what you think, what your perspective is. Continue to rock out with your girl by going to complexsimplicity.com. And until next time.